Our next panelist is Mr. George Thomas. He is General Manager and Director of IMTAC India and has done lots of work in software development. He has done MBA in IT systems, PMP certified, over 30 years of experience in IT services and project implementation. He has also written a book on subscriber computing, the divergence of software engineering and application development. He is currently also leading an initiative in building a core academic institute management system. I'm going to pose some questions to Mr. George Thomas and request his views on that. Sorry. What kind of challenges are faced as per you in implementing IoT solutions? We heard from Mr. Sushilji, Mr. Sangeev, Dr. Agarwal. From your experience, what do you think would be the challenges and what are the technology hiccups that you envisage in IoT adoption? And to what extent adoption of IoT will happen in a decade, over a period of 2 years? About 5 minutes, we are running behind time, but since we started late, 15 minutes late, I'm not taking the organizer's endpoint of 11:15, we'll have time till 11:30.
Respected Chair, panelists, moderator, all the viewers. Thanks for giving this opportunity. I am grateful that IIT has invited me for joining the distinguished panel members here and all of you. Okay, I would probably of value in terms of sharing my experience in terms of trying to implement some of the IoT solutions and IoT applications in our environment. And I say our environment, I'm talking about Indian context. Okay, so if I mean, eminent panelists actually, they've already shown a lot of information, shared a lot of information related to the challenges and stuff like that. So I'll actually step back and sort of see, because there are a lot of smart cities and disaster management kind of concepts has been shared here. Now fundamentally, what is smartness? When we are trying to achieve smartness through technologies like IoT, I believe that smartness comes from the ability to measure. So if you have activities, there are umpteen number of activities that is happening around us. If you are not able to measure, then I think it is impossible for monitoring anything, whether it is a service, whether it is a disaster situation, whether it is day-to-day life, whatever activities, whatever that we do. If you are not able to measure, we will not be able to monitor. If you are not able to monitor, then we will not be able to control. And if you are able to control, if you are able to measure, monitor and control, then we will be able to strategically achieve certain objectives, be it whatever smart city initiatives that we have today, or any other things that we are trying to achieve. So to improve our current situation on the ground, we need to have these things, and that is where I think that is my interpretation of application of technology like IoT comes into picture. I'm just remembering, sorry, I'm taking a little extra time, stop me anytime, no problem. But the Malaysian Airlines, which actually crashed, we had no news after that. It just crashed, and then news media has covered it for some time, but then we lost. Today, we all see floods in Kerala. Everything. I mean, 12 out of 14 districts are kind of flooded. You see, if you look at any of these kind of situation, if you are able to actually use technology effectively, like the urban transport, the bus model that was just now shown as a smart transport mechanism, where the hundreds of, or in this example, there are a few, probably there I would think that every equipment will in the future will get embedded with embedded SIMs and some such technologies, and then it will become actually kind of a collection of lot of data which is going into that, which is giving you tons of information, loads of information. If you are able to actually kind of convert that information to meaningful insights for analysis and improvement, and other side to control any disasters or any kind of imminent situation, or even continuous process, then that is where the IoT application would be useful. Now, when it comes to challenges that sir has asked me to say what challenges that we have faced. Now, before telling the challenges, probably I would actually just give you a little experience that I have implementing a particular IoT solution in an Indian situation. We have came up with a concept for improving the efficiency of workforce of Indian cities. So all the cities, everywhere, whichever cities that you take, you have a lot of government, municipal workers, sanitation workers who are cleaning the street, who are maintaining the cleanliness of the city is employed. And our first use case was one city in Nagpur city basically, and we have actually taken 8,000 workers. They have 8,000 workers who are actually doing this. It's a typical use case. So we have given them a wearable device which completely replaced the need to have a biometric or a manual kind of attendance system. Now, by just replacing the need to do attendance, straight away, morning 6 to 8, 2 hours out of 8 hours, which is 25% of their time given for doing the work, is come back to the pool of work hours. Earlier, they were given 1 to 2 hours to sort of just do the attendance. Now, the need of that is gone. 2, you can actually monitor the workforce, all the workforce throughout the working hours from morning till evening, and we know we can actually determine whether they are on the ground doing the work or not. Now, this way we are actually kind of transforming the workforce to do their job, and we can actually find out whether they are there or not anytime. So we use the geofencing technology, geofencing approach, where we actually identify a work person where he has to be there during his work hours, and if he is not there, attendance automatically marks it as negative. If he is there, it is marked as positive. So this way we are actually changing the culture of the workforce. So coming back to the challenges that we have faced in implementing, it's a huge activity in terms of implementing this, and there are a lot of people on the ground involved. Now, I would actually say there are many challenges. It's not only for this application, for any application that we have. For sure, there are many. It may vary from one application to the other application, but I would take a lot of C's, alphabet C. I would say culture, connectivity, cost, cognition, change. There are so many things which I've just taken one alphabet. I mean, we can take alphabets and actually symbolically say this. But from a culture perspective, I would think that any such technology, because IoT is a technology which actually kind of very pervasive in nature, it can actually go everywhere. And if you have to actually kind of implement such things, you have to actually take you have to really understand that there is a cultural impact. Sir was actually talking about social impact. I'm basically kind of talking about a connotation which is very close to that. So the cultural aspect needs to be understood. What is the impact, and who are going to be displaced from their comfort zones, and how this going to actually be, changing the lives of people who are going to be participating or stakeholders of this. Now, this requires a serious change management from all level. So that's probably the point about culture. Of course, I wouldn't actually go too much of connectivity right now because we are all actually, ITI and everyone actually talking about connectivity and improvement, new technologies. GPRS, now we are actually reaching up to, 5G. We are talking about other technologies like LoRa and stuff like that. That is actually kind of coming into picture. Now, the thing is, infrastructure right now, what we have, still we are very ill prepared to actually do very huge mass deployment of technology. We still have to improve a lot of our infrastructure in terms of connectivity. I don't want to get too much into that details. I think it is it's a debate by itself, so I don't want to get into that. Cost is one aspect. We are in India. Our sensors, very interesting actually comment from Dr. Agarwal. About sensors. I think we need to really, as all the industry people in India, we have to really work towards it to actually bring this to a very, very low level of cost. I mean, you can imagine a bottle of water will cost you 10 rupees, and if you have to actually put some kind of an IoT thing to monitor that, if it is going to cost another 10 or 20 rupees, it's not practical. So you probably have a 10 rupee bottle of water needs to have a technology which is probably 1 paisa or half a paisa, then only it actually work. So that kind of cost radicalization, I would call, needed to actually kind of make this really pervasive and the kind of level it has to come. And due to limitation of time, I'm not getting into more details. If anybody is actually interested in actually talking to me to understand a little bit, if you are in the verge of implementing a project in IoT on a large scale, I am more than happy to share my knowledge and experience that I have gone through in such a thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas.